Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Well, I'm joined now by two London MPs, Labour's London mayoral candidate, MP Sadiq Khan, and Conservative MP Chris Philp, who's a member of the Treasury Select Committee. We did ask the Conservative mayoral candidate, Zac Goldsmith, to come on the programme, but he was unavailable. Welcome to you both. Let me start with you, Chris Philp. 1 in 4 affordable new homes built on public land. That just isn't enough, is it?
Well, I've looked at the spreadsheet Paul Mason had, and the figure is 31%. If you look at the average across...
There was some dispute, that wasn't it? They said 25%, then the office came back and said it's 31%.
Yeah, for some reason, Paul had excluded some of the sites. If you include all the sites, it's 31%. If you look at the average affordable homes built across London, both under Boris Johnson and before him under Ken Livingstone, the average is 33%. So it's pretty close to the average. But in addition to that, of course, the 50,000 new homes built on this land are on sites that have been derelict for decades. And we're building on those sites 11 new parks and 14 new schools. To be fair to Paul, some of the deals that you refer to that bump up the figure to 31% are deals that haven't actually been signed yet. So let's just stick with a figure of 1 in 4. It just isn't enough. And it begs this question. Can we actually have a London that is for the Londoners, for the teachers, and the nurses and the bus drivers who work in the city, who keep the city going? Well, it's essential that we do, and of course we need to build a lot more affordable homes to do that. Under Boris Johnson, we've built almost 100,000 affordable homes in 8 years. That's an increase on Ken Livingstone's figure over the same period of time, 85,000. Now, that 20% increase under Boris Johnson is very welcome, but you're certainly right, we need to do a great deal more. But Boris's own office has assessed that in order to keep up with the demand, they need to build at least twice as much as the 100,000 that have been built. That's absolutely right. We need to double house building in our city. And that's why Zac Goldsmith has a plan to bring more public sector land into development, not just GLA land, but things like hospital land, Transport for London land, even MOD land, Network Rail land. There's a thing called the London Land Commission, which Boris and the government set up 6 months ago, and it's vital that all of us London MPs get right behind that. But I mean, the housing, the social rent housing in London, as we saw in Paul's report, is absolutely minuscule, just over 5,000. Well, again, in the last 5 years of Conservative government, we built more council houses than 13 years of Labour government put together. So we're taking a big step in the right direction under the Conservatives. But you're absolutely right. As a London MP, I know from talking to my constituents day in, day out, we need to build a lot more homes in London, and that is what Zac Goldsmith is determined to do. What I found really bizarre is that the developers like Barratt, this is from their report, say that they make more money out of public land than out of private land. I mean, that's just unacceptable. I looked at that, actually. It's on page 14 of their annual report from last year. It actually refers to the annualised return based on the cash flow rather than the absolute profit. But that Catford example I looked into because I was horrified when your producer phoned me, and I called the Deputy Mayor of London, and the price they got for that, 9.5 million in total, was actually twice the book value they were carrying it on their books. So we got the government, or the mayor, got twice the book value for that site. And of course, we're delivering loads and loads of homes on a site in Catford where I used to play football that has been derelict. And why don't they make those numbers public? We don't know exactly how much they're making out of this. Well, I just made that one public. Maybe I shouldn't have done. But he said that when I asked the Deputy Mayor, he said that they are selling these sites in almost every case, I think, at a premium to book value. OK. I mean, the big question here... One last question to you. I mean, the point is this, that London as a kind of global property capital is simply unaffordable for the majority of people who want to live in the city who call themselves Londoners, and that is just unacceptable. That's right, it is. And the only you're absolutely right. And the only solution to that is to build more houses. That's why Boris Johnson has built more houses than Ken Livingstone. But still not enough. But still not enough. And that's why Zac Goldsmith has a plan to build even more, and I'm backing him. OK. Sadiq Khan, over to you. You actually want to run this city. What are you going to do about this?
It's quite remarkable. Only the Conservative Party, Zac Goldsmith and Boris Johnson,
would be
not just content, but proud of what you've just seen. So at the moment, let's be quite clear. On public land, 1 out of 4 homes is currently affordable. And by affordable, Boris Johnson means 80% of market value. My plan is very simple. I will set up in City Hall and take personal charge of homes for Londoners, and we will do what it says on the tin. Half of all new homes on public land and private land will be genuinely affordable, and I'll define it. Let me define it. A combination of either social rent, So there's a formula linked to manual workers, council rent, a London living rent, 1/3 of average local earnings, or shared ownership, part buy, part rent.
Right.
That's the deal with me as the mayor.
That's your promise. Now, Ken Livingstone, one of your possible predecessors, tried to do exactly that, and he failed. He got to 30%. What makes you think that you can actually get the developers on board to build the homes that you need? Because they just walk away from it.
Well,
they don't need to build these homes.
Well, Ken Livingstone did a lot better than Boris Johnson. I'll do far, far better than Boris Johnson. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because what's important is that London has a London plan that works for Londoners rather than developers and investors in the Middle East and Asia. So, for example...
But that's rhetoric. Give me the actual plan. How are you going to do this?
Well, let me explain to you why. So, Transport for London currently owns land equivalent to 16 times Hyde Park. Some of that land we can build homes on. Now, will you trust a Conservative mayor to build more luxury developments, more profit for developers, or will you want a mayor on the side of Londoners building homes genuinely affordable? I'll give you some other examples. Capco in Elscourt on TfL land, a joint venture by this mayor on TfL land, 11% affordable homes, 0 social rent. We can work with developers, we can work with local authorities, we can work with housing associations to get more genuinely affordable homes in London.
You're not going to build those things yourself. You're not going to put bricks on top of bricks. Who's going to do this for you if the terms aren't favourable for them? The developers are in it to make money.
Let me give you some examples where local authorities are doing this. In Camden Council. Camden Council have got land they own, working with a developer, Savills. Half of the homes on that land are for market value. That's the income stream to build the homes for local Camden residents. I'll give you another one. I was in Hackney, Labour Hackney, on that piece of land, working with a developer, half of the homes for market value, the other half for local residents, and let me tell you what else. As part of the conditions, first dibs to local residents. No off-plan selling to investors in the Middle East and Asia. So Labour councils can do it. A Labour mayor plus a council, just imagine what you
Mr. Candidate, it's time for a pledge, for a solemn pledge, hand on heart. If you become mayor, will you promise and pledge that you're going to have 50% affordable housing?
Well, that's the target, but let me see why you can't...
No. I want to hear you pledge it. Give me the pledge.
But Matt, it's contingent on how fast we can release the land. It's contingent on how many builders we can get going. It's contingent on how...
there we go.
No, but you got to understand the concept. You've got a mayor who'll be on the side of Londoners versus one who simply walks away from this. And this is why it's important.
You're not making the pledge, are you?
Because we now have 16 times Hyde Park worth of land. Will you trust those guys with that land or a mayor on the side of Londoners?
OK, got to leave it there. Sadiq Khan, Chris Philp, thank you very much indeed.